Hello and welcome back. Today I've got a 23 Redstone output randomizer. It's in Snapshot 13W7A. You need that snapshot for it to work right, or to even paste it into your own worlds when I put all the stuff in the description. It does just what it says. It's a randomizer. You flip the switch or hit the button if you just want a short pulse, and torches randomly start turning off. You can also quickly just reset it, and there you go. You can do a whole new random setup. It can just be a randomizer, it can be a random pulser, which I'll show you how that is, and a random countdown. To do the random pulser, you just turn on the switch there, and as you can tell, certain torches are just flickering on for a second and sending out a pulse. Also, the random countdown. Also, you have to flick the switch a second time so the water goes away. The random countdown, which I will just speed up really quick in a moment so won't take too long for you guys to see, is required to have this little bit above it with all this redstone for the countdown itself to work. And I'm just going to speed up. There it finally goes. So as you could tell from how long that took, if you take out the four corners of the outermost layer, the delay goes down by a lot. So if you want a quicker randomized timer, that's how you do that. If you take out the whole, a whole layer, it also decreases the time a lot. You can also increase the time by something I will show you in a moment. But yes, so it can work as a random off, or a random just timer in general. Just a basic randomizer, which it's already randomizing again, and a random pulser. Now, you might have been wondering this entire video, how did I get this to work like that? Well, it's simple if I just go back over here and make it visible again. By using the new fact that you can put spawners in minecarts, I have this spawner set up with a spawner that spawns redstone torches. These torches are randomly generated in a 4x4 area, closest to the spawner and is where it spawns the most, and furthest away is where it spawns the least. So that's how that algorithm seems to work, at least. And I simply just have these dispensers getting rid of all the water. Getting rid of all the torches when it's off. How I've made sure that the spawner stops spawning when put back down and when reset is there's a piston. If I can just quickly show you. The piston takes down the spawner, which is sitting on a half step. It takes down the spawner, and the spawner cannot spawn up this high because it's just low enough that it won't. Yes, a single piston can take it down low enough, thus stopping the spawn. But when it's put back up, it starts spawning again. That's also why the pulser works, because it's up there trying to spawn torches, but the water's destroying them the moment they sit down, but it's just long enough to put out a single little pulse. So that's the basics of it. Over here I have what's going to be the downloadable version. I'm going to put some schematics for all the various things into the description. This one's a little more visible, this one's a lot more compact. There's all the redstones inside. This is the basic reset button, this is the water on off toggle button, which was pretty much that switch that just put it onto the pulsar mode. There's just one pulse. See, I'll show you how the one pulse, it just pops it up there for just a moment, and then a few torches appear. And this one just keeps it on. So yes, this will all be a schematic in the description. It's very simple, very easy to build yourself if you really want to. Over here, these are the tops, these are the outputs. This is a compact output. It's not as reliable, it's the less compacted one, but it does the same job. The outputs is going to be another schematic. You pretty much just paste these on top of this. This block should match up. Whoa, where'd I go? Oh, this block should match up with this pole that sort of just goes down the whole entire thing. When you paste it, all the torches should match up too. When you put this on top of there, all these torches invert because it's on top of all those torches, and so of course, I'm just gonna put a torch below this, for example. This would be what they would all be like, off by default. And I've got an example how it works over there. But yes, this helps you divide out all those torches, so it's actually useful because it's a lot easier to branch. One second, as I try to figure out how I did this. I need a bit of redstone and a repeater. Anyway, oops. There we go. Anyway, it's not too terribly hard to branch off from each layer. All you have to do is one momento. Whoops. I'm messing everything up. I mean, the more in, the more of a delay, but you can still easily branch off, as you can see. Yeah, I'll do this really quick, just to demonstrate how to build the wires out of it. And again, the smaller you build your, what have I done? Don't question me, I know what I'm doing. No, I don't. But no, the smaller you build, the less clutter you'll have, pretty much. Oh, that's what I did wrong. No, oh, I just have this off center. Okay, there you go. But yeah, the smaller you, if you build a smaller version of each of these, the less of this clutter you'll have to deal with, and also the layers up, it gets less and less of a troublesome thing. This one's less compact than the one over there. And that's just so you can wire up things a lot easier. If you are better at compact, less vertical room wiring, it's about the same as using that one. So I guess you can use this one instead if you want. Again, I'm not really good at explaining stuff. But no, here's, as you can tell, they're all inverted when it's on top of it, pasted on top. So if I turn this on, you'll notice some of the repeaters will also be turning on as the randomizer goes, and that is how that works. Pretty simple, pretty nice. Just can quickly reset and everything is good and dandy. But yes, in the description will be the download. It'll be a zip file with a few schematics. It'll have this in schematic form, this and this in schematic form. The spawner inside of here, yeah, oops, that spawner cart will be a schematic, hopefully. If the schematic didn't save right, that'd be a pain. Also, and then just that in spawner form. It's not too terribly hard to make for yourself if you don't want to use my schematics. Pretty much all you have to do is take and place down a torch, go into MC Edit, use SethBlink's Sandify filter to turn this into a sand block. Also I think a statue maker filter might work. But yeah, turn that sand block into a spawner. Change the spawner properties for whatever size you want. I just have it by default a 4x4, which ends up it's weird how it spawns them, actually. Let me really quick explain this. It's weird how it... So, the spawner is here. But for some reason, because it considers this the center, a radius of 4 makes it spawn torches like that. It's not perfect, I guess. But it works. But yes, I also have it for the delay and all the other properties. I just have the delay of a minimum of 1, a max of 1, current delay of 1, spawns 1 torch with spawning just an entity cap of 1, a range of 1,000, but a radius of 4, if that makes sense. Again, this is more meant for those who are more professional and can take my design here and make it amazing and use it better. But yeah, you can increase the time of the spawner to, for example, change how fast this would turn off and such like that. But if you watch this whole video, it's probably a pretty decently long one, but I'll probably clip it around a bit to make it a little less boring. Now, you might have been watching this video and wondering, how could this be useful? 63 outputs just strung about everywhere. Well, what if you wanted a dungeon which was completely randomized? Not completely, well, actually, you probably could make a completely randomized one, too, if you were smart enough. But you wanted it randomized so certain rooms open sometimes they don't, so it's different every time you play the adventure map or the dungeon map. Well, you could set it up so that when the person spawns, they hit a pressure plate or something, it sends the signal through into there, that's the activator. And then once they're off the pressure plate, it then deactivates so it doesn't keep spawning torches. And then, whichever ones of these were activated, it could send out its signal. The signal could then decide certain things, like if certain doors are open, or if, certain things spawn. That can be pretty helpful for randomization. And this gives you the option of 63 different lines going to 63 different things. Or you could even have it more than just 63. For example, you could have one of these wires send out signal. When it gets to its place, it branches off one way and goes to one door. And that door opens, but it also shuts another with an inverter. Shuts another with an inverter. Stuff like that. So, this is useful for larger sized maps, I guess you could say. Or one of my own projects I want to work on soon enough. Also, one last note about how this works. You have to make sure, if you build your own, that this is completely solid with no openings. For example, I have redstone in there, but there's no just open gaps, because the torches will want to spawn on top of everything. That is why on the inside of here, if I can just break in a little bit, if you see the spawner, or underneath the spawner is a half step, as I showed you for just a split second. See, half step. That half step prevents any torches from spawning on top of the pistons, so it doesn't randomly shoot up. So it does require that half step. But yeah, I hope any of you more popular, better redstoners might see this design. It took me a while to get it right, as you can see. Concept, working version, smooth, polished, nice one. And maybe you can improve upon it. Maybe you can tell me I am very behind in the redstone ages. But otherwise, I'm quite proud of it. And the schematics are in the description. Anyway, I will be signing off now, and good night.